All right, good people. Welcome to the latest episode of the Sim Standard Podcast, episode 224. Myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty. And we definitely appreciate you guys coming out, whoever will be here live, as well as those who will show up in the archive. We appreciate you watching. Sorry for being a little bit later, guys. You know, life happens, so, sometimes we're able to be on right at 8 o'clock. Other times we're going to bleed a little into the 8 o'clock hour. But I know you guys understand that. And also, man, tonight is probably going to be a relatively short show. We really don't have a lot to talk about, man, to be honest with you guys. So I want to at least give you guys that information. I'll say it again when more people get in here just to reiterate. What we try to do every week is, have a 2-hour time blocked away, anywhere from 8 to 10 o'clock. Some nights we're going to have, the full show. Some nights we'll have times where we feel like we got to go a little bit over. And then other times, man, it might be where we really don't have a whole lot to talk about. So we're not going to just, talk for the sake of talking. We'll get out our topics, get out what we got to say. And then, if we wrap up early, which we probably will tonight, then there you go. We'll be out of here. But anyway, man, just getting started. Y'all know how everything goes here, man. We want to tell you guys how our week has gone so far. Any other miscellaneous things we want to cover outside of the topics, we'll do that first. And then after that, man, we'll speak a little bit on, what we're going to talk about tonight. And then that'll be it. All right, so the first thing, man, Smitty, how was your week? How's everything been going? I know you out there, man, in Michigan, and I can only imagine what the weather's got to be out there. It's super cold here as well. So, how's everything been going as far as that, man?
Well, some people may know, it's been in the negative, with the temperature. I mean, some people feeling the cold temperatures and stuff, and I see some people post, it's been like 50 some odd degrees and 40s and stuff. And we have been talking about -25, -35 with the wind chill factor. You know what I'm saying? Folk can't even start their cars up, and people going outside. Like, I have one of my friends post on Facebook. They took their dog out walking, and I mean, they were bundled up to the T, and they had frost develop on their eyelashes. That's the only thing that was uncovered, was that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that cold, and they weren't even outside that long. They were out for like maybe 12, 15 minutes. It was that cold, so it's been mad cold here. But like Sim said, I'm staying remotely. I'm like downtown, close to we're close to our son because he's still in the hospital. So we wanted to make sure, especially when we knew this weather was going to be forthcoming, that we could stay close, so that way we don't have to go that far to get to the hospital. So, but everything's cool though. Everything's looking good. Like I told him as well, he should be home next week. So, some point next week, we think it'll be toward the end of next week, and then he'll be back. He'll be home. So, just have to wait and see how things keep progressing. But everything's going good. But outside of that, of course, we ain't got nothing to talk about with the NFL. We already talked about, I think we already gave our Super Bowl picks and everything last week. But, I will say this, though, about the NBA. I mean, look at the pick, excuse me. Look at this trade. You got the deadline coming up. Heck, I wish Detroit would make a move, to be brutally honest. Do something with getting AD out of here, and or not. I mean, I don't necessarily. And when I mean AD, I mean I'm talking about Drummond. So I don't want Drummond to leave, but at the same time, if it means that it'll help our team chemistry be better, then I'm okay with it. But I prefer him stay. I don't think that he would truly be a problem, but. And this once again goes back to his mentality when it came to him being drafted. The reason why he slipped from being a top 5 draft pick in the first place, and Jody got him at a steal at 9 back then, was because the big knock on him was his mental discipline. Does he have the mental toughness to want to be good, to want to be great, to want to work hard, all those different things. It's like he'll do work, but he's not working as hard as he can to be an elite player. He should be an elite shot blocker in the NBA. He should be a much better post defender than what he is. Like he's basically just padding stats, but he's not really leading anything. You see what I'm saying? He's killing it as far as rebounds are concerned, but he's not. There isn't anything that he's doing with pride. Like there isn't anything you can associate pride with him. Definitely not with Reggie Jackson. I seriously wish that we could do a deal and get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like we really need to get him out of here. He needs to go. He really, really needs to go. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Like I mean, dudes have been saying they want to trade him for a sub sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh man.
get him out of here. Like he's that bad, but he really is a problem. He's a problem. And I mean, as sad as it is for me to say, because I'm a fan of Stanley Johnson, but if he could even be dealt, I'm okay with that too. You know what I'm saying? Because he's had multiple chances. I've vouched for the man, for the young man, multiple times over. I wanted him to get a real opportunity. I feel he needs to go somewhere where somebody is going to truly mold him, basically like Jahlil Okafor is. Look what he's doing over there in New Orleans. Now he's really getting a chance. He's rising up. As you heard them talk about him, he needed to be reared up in the NBA. He needed to, his mentality had to change. He had to become a more mature person as well as a player. You know what I'm saying, to be truly taken serious. And that's the whole thing. When these guys come into the NBA at 19, 20 years old, they're not truly ready. They get that money and everything, but they're not truly ready for it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what talent level. Stanley Johnson is the same deal. He came in after his freshman year. I know somebody put the bug in his ear. Hey, you're a lottery pick. You know, you're gonna be a lottery pick in the draft. Oh, bet I'm gonna leave college and go. You know what I'm saying? So he gets the money, but he ain't really panning out as a talent. And he may need to go somewhere else where he'll really get a chance and shine. Like I feel that if he went to a team like the Spurs with Coach Pop and all that, the way he works with these players, he could actually become somebody. You know, that's what I feel. But no, outside of that, I mean, looking at the Luca trade I mean the Luca trade, the Porzingis deal, that's a crazy move right there, especially if Porzingis re-ups with Dallas, which I would assume he would, because Dirk's on his way out, Dennis Smith is gone. Uh, uh, Zingis can step right in there, and then that could be their international connection right there between those two guys. So that would be nuts to see those two be able to play off of each other and actually do some good damage out there in the West. Um, and this is one thing that I want to say. I know people talking about. There was a little bit talking about Kobe and LeBron. People were talking about those guys. Let me say this, and I'll just say this. This is about the whole. Just I'm just saying something a little bit different about LeBron and the whole being the GOAT, being great and all that. Look, LeBron James is a great stat patter. He is a great stat padding leader. He's a great he is a great weapon for a team, but he doesn't help make your team better. He just helps you win. He doesn't help make your team any better because every team that LeBron exits or leaves, or whether he's injured or whatever the situation may be, they're all they struggle. And if you're really building your team, that's how you really are leading your team. When people make the point about, I'll say this and then I'll throw it to Sim. When people make the point about Michael Jordan, when he left for that season, played baseball, and then you still saw the Bulls get to, I think it was the Eastern Conference Finals or the semifinals, when they played against the Knicks and they went 7 games, I think 6 or 7 games, and Jordan wasn't there. And they like, oh, well, look at what they were able to do back then, and he didn't have Jordan. And I'm like, that's the part that people overlook. they look at LeBron leaving when he leaves Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland couldn't do nothing. But look at what the Bulls were able to do without MJ being there. I'm like, think about that. Jordan instilled a mindset, a mentality. He truly was a leader of that team. He didn't bring the ball up the floor every time, but at the same time, he commanded a certain level of respect, whether they were friends on or off the court, or they absolutely hated coming to the court because of how Jordan acted. The bottom line was that Jordan instilled that with his team. When him and Pippen played together on Team USA back then, like they knew that they had Tony Kukoc was going to be their teammate at some point. Like he was going to be on the Bulls. Pippen wanted to get him. Like, I mean, he was like, yo, he's like, man, let me get that guy. I want to show him the ropes. I want to school him. That whole I'm gonna get you that killer mentality like that. That's Jordan right there. Jordan instilled that. Mm-hmm. So when you so when you instill that in a player like Pippen, and you're able to get, I forgot how many wins they got that year, but if you're able to get a high clip of wins, even with Jordan not being there, and you went, nearly 7 games with the team that year came out of the East, that's a big deal. That ain't nothing to just scoff at. So when you look at LeBron and he leaves Cleveland, and then pretty much the same cast of players are there, and they're not able to move a muscle, that says a lot in terms of what he really did with that team. He padded stats. He padded stats, but he didn't really lead. That's just like the Avengers with no Thor. If you take Thor out of there and it's like all is lost, guess what? I guess they lost. But Thor comes in. He comes in and he comes through and he makes his presence. He made his dominant presence felt. But he didn't teach that. But at the end of the day, he's not going to teach any of the team how to be dominant themselves as a team. That's the kind of stuff Jordan did. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's what makes a guy like Jordan be great, and look at him, and he's looked at in that light. People try to say that Jordan had a super team when he had Rodman and all that. He ain't had no super team. He was the only predominant all-star on that squad, was Jordan. And the thing is, that team was just a well-oiled, well-reared up team. Very disciplined, and they knew what time it was with Jordan being on that court. Now, we going to see next year. I hate that ESPN got that documentary. They're going to show a sneak preview of it in late 20. I think like a few weeks ago, they do a preview of it, tease, but then it don't come out till 2020. Which I think that's some bull crap. But that's going to give a look. I think it's like the 96 or 97 season. And it gives them like a more of a background look in terms of how things was going on and all that. So we're going to see that. I look forward to that because that's going to give more of an inside look in terms of how things was going on with that team. But my whole point is just that I know that, you know, the NBA looks hard at LeBron, you know, as y'all hear my daughter. They look very hard at LeBron. Hold on, sweetie. They look very hard at LeBron in every single thing he does, but you know, it's a different. It's more of his presence on the court in terms of what he's going to do for that team at that moment versus how that team is going to work all together. That's why looking at a move like, oh, hey, let's get AD and trade everybody else away, that would be retarded. They should not do a move like that. That would be a horrendous move for them to do something like that. They should just wait. Like I was saying to Sim before we started up, I think that they shouldn't be trying to scurry and make a trade right now. Mm-hmm. If anything, wait till the off season and then make a deal for him. Whether they, you know, do a sign and trade or whatever, you know, like do something like that. So that way they're not basically selling their entire future away for one player, essentially. You know, like I know that I would assume that they would get more for AD than just him, but to give away basically your future for him and aging LeBron, that would be a very bad move in my opinion. So, but I'll throw it to you, Sim. Sorry I went on that long.
Yeah, man. The whole Jordan and LeBron thing, man. Listen, man. Jordan. Listen, the man never went to Game 7, man. I mean, I'm just saying. Regardless of how people want to feel, I know everything is about eras. You know, some of us were fortunate enough to be kids when Jordan played. We got to see it. And it is what it is. I can also understand people that grew up in the LeBron era, you know, thinking that he's the best because that's what they saw. It's just like when people say, you know, some people have told me that their best fighter of all time was Floyd Mayweather. You know, shout outs to my man Freddie G in here, wanted me to talk some boxing. I think, man, I'm gonna actually we'll probably have to do that on a separate show, or even me just do an independent video or something, because, you know, all of the fights coming up in 2019, there's no way I could sum that up in a little bit of time, man. But, you know, if you are a boxing fan, I mean, I'll just read them off here really quick. Man, you got Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. That's a great fight. Terrence Crawford against Khan. That's going to be a very interesting fight. Because, hey, listen, Amir Khan is not the greatest. And Amir Khan fades late. But one thing Amir Khan does do is he brings speed, he brings accuracy, and he brings a lot of action. You got to be ready for it. So I'm going to be very interested to see Terrence Crawford in that type of fight. We've seen it before, but I'm going to be very interested in seeing that, especially since he, you know, again, people got to remember Crawford's coming up to welterweight. You know, he's making his way up. That's going to be an interesting fight because I think, in my opinion, right now, Spence and Crawford are probably the top talents. And, you know, right around that division, Mikey Garcia is pretty dope too. But, you know, if I had to pick two top guys, I want to see Crawford. I want to see Spence. Crawford still has to prove himself, though. Again, you know, he isn't as big as those guys naturally, so that's going to be interesting. But then you got Canelo versus Danny Jacobs. That's going to be an interesting fight. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. Keith Thurman just came back and fought, you know, old boy Lopez. It's going to be interesting. And then Wilder versus Fury Part 2, man. I'll quickly just be brief with that. Bottom line, man, I've been saying this for a long time. Deontay Wilder is not the most skilled fighter. He's not. He is, well, actually I said that wrong. He is a fighter. You know, he has that dog in him. He goes for the knockout. He's very confident in his power. He has a lot of power, and if he hits you with that bomb, you're usually going to go down. But he's not a skilled boxer. You know, they definitely need to work on them because Wilder, in my opinion, he got took to school. Fury took him to school in terms of the sweet science. You know, and as awkward as Fury is, he was hitting Wilder with some shots he ain't supposed to be hit with. Jabbing him out. He out jabbing the better athlete. And I know that doesn't always translate into a good jab, you know, person that can jab, but some of y'all will understand what I'm saying. If Wilder was able to put together a solid boxing expedition, yeah, come on. But he don't have that. His defense ain't that great. He's there to be hit. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of changes they make in that particular fight. So, again, man, I'm probably going to have to do my own video, or maybe, you know, we could chop it up and talk boxing for one full episode here, because I think what we need to start doing, Smitty, I know you're listening, I think we should start transitioning a little bit, man, here on the show. It's always going to be centered around gaming, but I think that there is room for us to start talking, you know, other sports, you know, like, of course, you know, the basketball like you do, and how we both talk about football, and then, you know, maybe some life events. So maybe we'll start incorporating that, guys, because we don't really have a lot to talk about in terms of just gaming until it ramps up. So, you know, maybe we'll start adding some real life topics along with the gaming topics and see how that goes. But outside of that, man, yeah, I think they should. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you, though, as far as the boxing is concerned, Do you think Wilder is ducking Joshua?
Oh no, I think it's
Okay,
the other way around.
the other way around. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Joshua act like he don't want no smoke with Wilder or Fury.
Mm,
You know,
okay.
it's he should have. To me, he should have fought Joshua before he fought Fury. But of course, Fury
Okay.
being the lineal champ, I believe that had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, Anthony Joshua don't want that.
Oh, okay.
He don't want that. He don't want that.
Oh,
I don't think he's skillful enough, man. He definitely won't be able to. Now, he's not a bum, but
right.
I don't think he would be able to fight Wilder the way Fury was able to do. And it's going to take a guy like that, man, because Wilder is so determined. He going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and he's going to last.
Yeah.
And I see Freddie G just mentioned it. That boy Ortiz, man, they better be glad that Luis Ortiz is an older dude. If he was in his prime right now, it would be a serious problem. That dude can box. And he can punch. So
see, this is why we need another fight night.
Exactly.
I appreciate, putting Frost and putting my man Bishop in there as a title update. Well, not like a fighter update. One of the title updates they did not long ago. That's cool. But I think boxing at this point is fruitful enough to be like, let's get a new fight night out here. Like, it doesn't have to be completely centered around legends. You can have a game where you have a good amount of current boxers, like current name boxers, various weight classes, divisions and such, where you got a lot of name guys. And I mean, these, you have rivalries brewing, you have up and comers, you have some established guys like Wilder, Fury, Joshua, and such. You don't have to rely on Manny Pacquiao and Floyd. Well, Mayweather wasn't in the game before. I mean, he was in the very first Knockout Kings, but I'm just saying, like, at this point, you don't have to have the ultimate household name to make a game. Like, there's enough to sustain and make a legit title and build it out. You basically have the layout right there with UFC. Just do it for boxing. You have the scale. Just tailor it, put the mechanics in there properly to retrofit it basically for boxing. And I mean, you can make a very immaculate game. Like, it would be sick to see them come out. I mean, I already know they're working on games for PS5 and all that stuff, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if they were to wait until then, or if they come out with it on this gen, still, it would be crazy to see them be like, to actually debut the game on Frostbite, if they were to do that. And then they actually have, instead of it just being UFC, like, or if they still have that contract with UFC, it would be sweet for them to actually come out with boxing. And actually, you know what I mean? Like, if it's an upcoming fight or whatever, and they showcase it, and it's the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be sick to be like, they finally brought back fighting. It'd be like when Microsoft brought back Killer Instinct, because so many people for so long, I mean, people made mock-ups of start screens and everything for that game because they wanted a new Killer Instinct so badly because it was gone for so long and so many people wanted it. It's the same thing I feel for Fight Night. And it's like, it would be outstanding to see EA actually do it. You know what I'm saying? I know that, everybody ain't vibing and gelling with EA because of how they practice and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit up and act like I hated Fight Night. Like, I loved Fight Night. It was a really good series. Did it have its ups and downs? Yes. But I would love to see another Fight Night be made. I mean, I enjoy UFC. I love the UFC. But I'm just saying, from a gaming standpoint, as much as I love UFC, I would also love to see the Sweet Science showcase as well. It would be sweet if they had both games made from EA Canada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know what to do with it.
Stay
with
away
the
from
combat
Tiburon.
sport. Yeah.
We'll have
what time it is.
Tiburon to give us Mike Tyson punch out again.
So let them cats make it, and then we'll have ourselves a nice game that we can all thoroughly enjoy. I mean, that would be sick to just be playing that.
Oh, man.
We'd be playing that forever. So, but I just wanted to say that, though, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we could talk about other sports, and it all doesn't have to necessarily correlate to playing a game, but at the same time, that's the kind of stuff that like just gets the juices flowing and be like, man, I wish we had a fight night. You know, because like that kind of stuff will make me want to fire up a fight night champion.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about, man. The sports games, and that's why we need Madden to be better. I mean, we're gonna get to that too, but yeah, man, it would be great. It would be great. But just to respond really quick to Freddie G, man, I'm surprised that how did Tyson Fury get up from that punch that Wilder landed late in the fight? I don't know how that dude got up. I thought it was over. And I think if Wilder can attack like that with a little better defense, work on his jab, man, and set it up, he'll get Fury out of there. Because Fury don't want that pressure. Fury just outboxed him. He outboxed Wilder, and that's why they ended up being a draw. But if you ask me, had Wilder not knocked him down a couple times, I think Fury won the fight just off of points. And I'm sitting here, I wanted Wilder to win. I'm more of a Wilder fan, and I just like, everybody loves the heavyweight to just go in there and just try to knock people's head off. I mean, we've been loving that since Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? That's what we all liked about Tyson. But the funny thing is, a lot of us who are in the boxing, we understood what really made Tyson good. It wasn't just that power. If you know boxing, Tyson's slip game was bananas. How he slipped and duck punches and hit you with that left to the body, left hook combination. Tyson was a problem. And it's just because his power was so overbearing. That's all we all saw was how bad he knocked people out. But that dude had a lot of skill. His footwork, especially with him being a shorter fighter in terms of, heavyweights. Heavyweights a lot of times got a little height on them. But, yeah, man, Tyson was a beast. And he had the skill to go with it. Thank God that he wasn't a tall fighter. My goodness. Had he been Lennox size? Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, man, if your boy Wilder, if he could do that, get a little better boxing skill, use that jab, get a little defense, I think he gets Fury out of there. But we'll see. But anyway, man, let's talk about some other stuff here, man. I'll go ahead and kick it off here as far as the topics. And, like I said, man, I think that's what me and Smitty will start doing going forward. The Sim Standard Show don't have to just be about gaming, man. We'll just talk about, a couple topics in the gaming realm, and if there is anything relative going on in the world, whether it's sports, politics, whatever. I mean, maybe not, I know people don't really want to go into politics, but we'll basically just, talk about a hot topic. So it doesn't always have to be gaming, man, because we really don't always have a lot to talk about in the gaming space. But speaking of that tonight, man, we're going to hit a couple things. I'll kick off the first thing, and then, Smitty will respond, and then we'll let Smitty kick off the second topic because he brought it to my attention. But I kind of want to talk about the Madden Club Championship, man, and it's not just what's going on right now, being played right now. It's just in general how I feel about how it's being presented. Taking a little different approach. It's not just so much the game itself, but, I'll explain to you what I mean here in a moment. And then Smitty will definitely kick off the topic about, the FIFA scandal with the loot box and all, in Belgium. EA finally they're going to stop selling points, man, because it has something to do with the gambling laws over in Belgium You know, the article is down in the description if you want to read it. I found it funny that EA was the last to pull out. You know, other games like your 2Ks and some other companies had already stopped, you know, basically selling the loot boxes or what have you, kind of, you know, honoring the laws. But EA, you know, held in there as long as they could, and then they finally pulled out. So I'll let, you know, Smitty lead that topic. But let's talk about the Madden thing, man. I'm gonna say it like this. This has nothing to do with those playing in the tournament for the most part. I know a lot of the guys, man, you know, from either watching them or I have met these guys in person, you know, guys like Skimbo, guys like Mo. You know, I met quite a few of these guys, and for the most part, they're good guys. You know, guys like Dubby. I don't know if Dubby is playing in this particular tournament. I wasn't sure. First and foremost, let me say this, man. It's good to see those guys back in action. You know, Drenny and guys like that, man, because we all know the situation, you know, what happened down in Jacksonville. You know, God bless everybody who was a part of that, and victims and family. It's just good, man, to see, you know, these folks being able to at least come together again and, you know, to not be, you know, I don't want to say to not be afraid, but to be able to come back to that after experiencing something so tragic. You know, you can kind of put that behind you as far as, you know, allowing that negativity or that cloud to stay over you. So it's good to see them push forward and, you know, see the tournaments kicking off again for those people who live in that realm. So that's a good thing. So I'm not talking about the players. I'm not all the way talking about the game either, even though it will lead to that a little bit. Here's my disappointment with these tournaments. I don't like the way that we're conforming to the negative things in the game. And what I mean by that is, as you look at these tournaments, man, I just watched some of them earlier today. I watched some yesterday. It makes me cringe when I hear the commentators. And again, this is not a shot to these guys. You know, I know these guys. You know, I know Cole, and I know RG, obviously, and I know Cookie Boy, you know, who, and shout outs to Cookie Boy, man. Some of these guys getting a chance to go out there and commentate for the first time. Shout outs to OSU, you know, from the NBL. I know these guys. You know, this is not a knock on them. But it's gotten to the point now, man, where even during the commentating, you are acknowledging a glitch or a flaw, or not even better, is an animation. You know, like, it now is getting to a point where a tackle happens or an interception or whatever, or an aggressive catch, and you'll hear these guys say, oh, he got that animation he was, you know, he was looking for, and oh man, he didn't get the proper animation. Oh, unfortunately, he's stuck in this, stuck in that. And I'm like, see, to me, that is the mere problem with the game, man. It's not entertaining for me anymore to watch and listen to, when it's almost like, you know, we have adapted or have accepted that the game is in that place where now, you know, you're just looking to pull off a dice roll. That to me, man, and listen, I know people are going to say, well, Sim, you know, that's video games, and, you know, this happens in every game, and, you know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to move away from that, you know, because I've been guilty of that as well. I've been guilty of always saying, well, look at 2K, well, look at such and such, look at this, look at that. I understand that all of these games have their problems, but I'm going to keep my gripe, you know, singly focused on whatever I'm talking about at the moment. And right now we're talking about Madden. And I'm a football fan, you know, more so than anything else. Boxing is probably right there next to football for me, and a little bit lower than those of basketball. You know, I love basketball as well. I'm not as involved in basketball as I am those sports. But, of course, I root for my Sixers. You know, I know basketball relatively well. But if you were to ask me what am I an avid fan of, it's football and boxing. So, you know, I got a right to be upset the most about the game that I'm wanting to play the most. Let me preference that again. The game that I want to play the most. And it is Madden, because that is the only football game we have. So I want to be playing football and enjoying myself in a football realm more than anything else, even my beloved Battlefield. If Madden was all that we want it to be, I mean, the depth is there, the gameplay is solid, bruh. That might be where I'm at for the most part. I'm just stuck in that world. With the combination of the online league, which, you know, because I'm in a 32-man league, you know, we have some fun in there. We're keeping the, you know, the enjoyment of Madden alive by it being 32 players. I mean, we acknowledge the problems, but you understand what I'm saying. We're able to have a good time because it's 32 live bodies. And we yucking it up on Facebook and we doing little write-ups and stuff like that. But just imagine if the game actually had that depth. But that's another tangent. I'm not going to go that far. But basically what I wanted to say, man, was, then I'll let Smitty respond, is I'm just sick and tired of, you know, the game has almost become, you know, like a joke. And again, this is not me going after the devs. It ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just talking about how it seems as if things are just overlooked and it's chalked up. You know, there's no way we should be hearing the commentators say stuff like, oh man, he didn't get the dice roll he wanted. They saying this stuff. And shout outs to Freddie G, man. Let's give him a round of applause for the quick donation. Definitely appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate you for that. But y'all know what I'm saying, man. It's like, it's disheartening. It's hard to watch. That's why, to me, when I'm not playing in my league, I get my enjoyment, man, watching the NBL, man. And I hope those guys are listening. They know I ain't blowing them no smoke. I've been an avid supporter of those guys and what they're doing over there and the presentation that they bring to the table. You know, that's like ridiculously like amazing. And it's enjoyable, man, just because they're playing a sim style, you know, and we all know the problems in the game, but at least nobody is like, you know, it's not that mentality of, oh, let me just try to do this, let me just try to do that. Dudes are actually trying to play real football. And again, this is no shot or disrespect to any of the competitors. I'm just saying, it says a lot about the state of the game when watching tournaments, people commentating on the game, and or people that are in the chat are all basically talking about the animation or the dice roll or the this and the that he's trying to trigger this, he's trying to make him do that, and I'm like, that is just not organic. It just makes me feel a lot worse about the game, man. I don't really know what else to say, man. Smitty, if you want to jump in, man, it's just oh, here's one last thing I wanted to say. Excuse me. Now they've put in a new mechanic, not a mechanic, but basically the behavior where they've patched the kicking, right? So you know how in the competitive world when guys kick a field goal or whatever, they hold a button and they just sit there and then they decide when to release it because they're trying to trick their opponent. Okay, I get it. Not necessarily real, but I get what you're doing. But now, see, this is giving you an example of how they have the Band-Aid fixes. Now, what they've done, because people were timing up blocks, now if you hold the button and you get your opponent to jump, it can't be blocked, period. Once you see that your guy jumps, and you ain't got to worry about him blocking it no more, because if he does that and you haven't hiked the ball, it automatically defaults to not allowing him to even block it at all. You see what I'm saying? And that's my problem. Everything is so catered around competitive play and fairness and all of these things, these tactics that they use in this game, man. And it's like all of that is going to hinder the game ever evolving. Just my opinion. We don't know what's going on in 20 as of yet. But when I see these type of things and I hear in the broadcast commentating around these things as being actual tactics and not anything that's related to organic football, it just drives me crazy, man. It just really drives me crazy, and that's just about all I got to say about it, man. What do you got, Smitty, man? You want to chime in and real quick, let's give Jump 2 Raw his respect, man. We appreciate the donation, man. We're gonna give you a round of applause.
Yeah.
But I ain't even gotta ask, man. I know Smitty knows exactly where I'm coming from with that, man. But what are your thoughts on it, brother?
I'll just say that, shout out to Freddie G and Jump 2 Raw on the donations. Unfortunately, I can't see YouTube, so I don't have, I can't see any of the chat or nothing like that. So, I'll definitely check out the recap, see what people were how the chat was. But as far as this is concerned, I mean, like Sim said, and I said this to him before the show, it's as if this game is still dealing with the hit from Madden 06. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all remember what was supposed to be Madden Next Gen. What was supposed to be this big time hype. And it's supposed to be this game that's supposed to run smooth and fluid and all that stuff and everything else. And we haven't truly had that yet. In some cases, not even remotely close, depending upon what aspect of the game you look at. And I mean, when we look at Madden, even at this stage, when you're talking about, like, look, I'll say this real quick. NBA 2K, about nearly a week ago, they just did an update where they tuned shot contesting, right? Dudes are getting exposed left and right on shot contesting because they buffed it up. So,
so it's more effective now?
Yeah. It's more effective now. So dudes are getting exposed, and Chris Move made the video, which was so funny because he was in there saying people gonna be complaining to Mike Wang and saying, "Oh, Mike, you gotta buff up the shots. You gotta buff up contested shots. I can't make any of my shots anymore. Oh my gosh, this isn't right." And he basically shown you like what the difference is between a contested shot and a lightly, a heavily, and a non-contested shot. And what people usually do is they just be chucking all these threes up all game long, whether contested or not. They're trying to sauce somebody, and then they want to chuck up these threes, somebody on them. And when because they're not getting those makes, they're gonna complain and whine. But it's like, no, you have to actually play basketball smartly, the way that it's actually played. You got to do set picks. You got to do pick and rolls. You got to actually run plays. You have to create openings, and then you take your shots. You don't have to be crystal clear, wide open to make a shot, but at the same time, you can be mildly contested and hit shots. But a whole bunch of people got exposed because of that. Something that actually happens in the sport of basketball. People, you see what I'm saying? And see, that's the problem when we talk about Madden, especially on a competitive level. Now, we're not saying these dudes don't know how to play or anything like that, but the problem is that they want that crowd in general wants absolution in a chaotically dynamic sport of football. They want to be able to make every pass, virtually make every pass, break every tackle, break everybody down on every juke, get every sack, pick off every pass. They just want to be able to do everything in one shot, and that's not football. They don't. They rarely want to overthrow. They rarely want any kind of miscue at all to happen. When many things happen in football that make it dynamic like that. But see, the Sims point, to bring it around the Sims point, that's why this game is so uniform. That's why you see people. I was even watching the games today and listening to Skimbo and all those guys. So what do you think of people that say you guys just call the exact same plays over and over? Okay, we understand that you guys are calling variations of the same play. And you guys are making adjustments, even though you're using the same or similar formations time and time again, offensively and defensively. We get it. We get, but the problem is you guys are basically using what's the most effective out of all the playbooks, saying, hey, this offensive set basically breaks the game the most. This offensive set does this the most. So this gives me the most success. It's not because of, exclusively because of personality the personnel that you have. It's because game point, this is how I can exploit the system the best offensively. And now defensively, you're trying to counteract that. That's why you quote unquote lab. You know what I'm saying? You're labbing all these different things to see what works, see what doesn't work. That's why you got guys like Eric Rayweather and others that put out the tip they put out. Hey, this play breaks the game. This is a money route. This is a cheat, whatever. You know, all that stuff. See what I'm saying? So when you look at Madden on this stage, even when you see how dudes play, guys catch the ball. They treat every drive. They catch the ball, get into the open field, and then they down themselves. They surround. Why? Because they don't want to get hit and potentially fumble. Like, you see what I'm saying? Game wise, mechanically, there should be ways to combat that. And what I'm saying is, if I'm the receiver, there should be ways for me to be able to combat against what you try to do. Whether you try to strip the ball from me, try to big hit, hit stick, whatever. But this is like what me and Sim have said many times over, dating all the way back to when Backbreaker was out. We want to see if you actually made the game organic. Loosen the ball completely. You're going to put all that back to all of it. Loosen the ball completely to physics. Okay? I'm sorry, I got to discipline daughter at the same time. But you loosen the ball completely to physics. Let the players, all 22, loop them all the physics. Player weight, momentum, all of that stuff. Fully respected, or respected as best as you possibly can do. You do that. That's it. You change the game just like that. Just by doing stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Now you're not talking about all that animation triggered, because now what animation? The game has animations, but at the same time it's loose to physics. So it doesn't mean that this one animation is going to be definitive that he's going to go down. It means that it's a starting point, but it's not a definite, he's going to go down. It all depends upon how he gets hit in addition. Now, let's say you have a player and their trait, and you decide you hold the control to say that you're going to secure the ball. So you got both hands on there to secure the ball. Defender tries to strip it from you, and he reaches his hand in there and he pulls one arm loose, but you got the other arm curled in tight, and you go down organically based upon how you're hit. Wouldn't that be a lot sweeter to see? One defender just happens to grab your leg, so you're slowing down, you're tripping up a bit. But then you got another defender who just tries to strip. He jumps on, he pulls one of your arms away, and then you just dynamically go down, right? Because you got two guys pulling on you. Third guy tries to hit you, but you end up going down, and it's all good. Wouldn't it be crazy to see organic plays like that happen, where there is no real determined outcome, so to speak, instead of what Madden is today, where it's much. I mean, hey, NHL, listen, this isn't about the game being great and all that stuff. It's about the principles in terms of gameplay mechanics and what it has. NHL and FIFA, I don't care about what the community say and they hate the game and they don't like the way listen, I'm fine. It's not about that what I'm talking about. I'm talking about is brass tacks, what the game has mechanically in comparison to where Madden is lacking at severely. In terms of organic gameplay, those games reign supreme. Situations, what I just explained, that one right there that I just talked about, is in those games. You want to make Madden better? That's how you do it. You loosen the game to physics, loosen puck to physics, player size, weight, stature, etc. All of those things make those things matter a lot more. Get a legitimate player movement system in there that you keep there. You don't roll it back. You don't remove it. You don't water it down for no one. And make people actually have to learn how to play the game. That's how you develop. That's where stick skills come in and football IQ come in. Hence, like what I made with the Chris move point about the shot contest being buffed up. Basketball IQ don't mean nothing when I could just come out and chuck up threes in your face all day, regardless of how you play defense on them. You see what I'm saying? It makes a world of a difference when, oh, snap, okay, this dude really contested my shot and made me miss. All right, I guess I got to work to make a better shot. Yeah, so you're going to have to actually, instead of just doing screen and rolls, what if they know how to combat against that? And I'm playing a head-to-head game. Oh, okay, cool. So they know how to better defend that. I got to make adjustments. I have to adjust so that I can be a better player. So that means that I actually am going to use some basketball IQ to play against these people now. Instead of just blindly go out there and say, hey, I don't worry about shot contests. I can shoot it however I want. No. That's what NBA Live is right now. They don't even have that. They don't have shot contesting balance in their game. It's a free-for-all. You build a player up a certain way. You can hit threes, jumpers, all that stuff all day, for the most part, regardless of who's defending you. See what I'm saying? That's where problems like what Sim's talking about with Madden, that's why Madden looks the way it looks. You got guys commentating on what animations aren't triggering. Oh, he didn't get that animation. Darn. Oh, he pulled that tactic with da-da-da-da-da-da. They commentate on it like that's part of it. Like it's part of the game. And it's okay. That should never be okay. Ever. If you hear that, would you hear that in a Street Fighter tournament? And they playing for all that money? Or what about Dota? What about League of Legends? What about Counter-Strike? Oh, he used that glitch. Oh, he used that hide behind the wall glitch. Oh, snap for $50,000. Oh, like they're not gonna sit up there and celebrate that. That's bull crap. If somebody went off of a glitch, that's please. But in Madden, it's celebrated. In Madden, that's part of the culture. That's not right. I remember watching the FIFA tournaments, and listen, once again, I'm not sitting up here talking about how good the game is and all that stuff. Like some people, they absolutely all kinds of problems with FIFA. Fine, duly triple noted. But I remember watching the tournament last year, and it was a user guarding the user on defense, guarding against user on offense one-on-one. User pulled a trick move off, and he froze the defender. He didn't know what he was about to do. Took a shot. He pulled off a trick move that was heading to the right, and he shot the ball to the left and scored a goal. He froze the defender because he didn't know what to do. There was no two-man animation. There was nobody was locked into anything. But the guy that was playing defense, his momentum pulled him out of the way because he committed one direction, thinking he's going to go that way when he actually went the opposite. There was nothing he could do. He could have hit circle to try and kick the ball. He could try and slide. There was nothing he would have been able to do because whatever animation would have triggered, it would have made sense to the momentum he was driving it. The way he's out to play. You see what I'm saying? Now in Madden, we'll compensate you. Player movement, spacing, angular tackling, angular defensive play. All of that stuff is not fully accounted for the way it needs to be. And because it's not, that's why the game looks so uniform on that stage. Plus, there's a quote-unquote meta. And it shouldn't be about... The meta should be football. It should be what happens in the NFL, not what somebody feels sitting at home on the couch streaming for playing the game for whatever amount of hours, and he just so happens to be a comp guy. That's not how. That's not valid. It should be about the NFL and nothing more than that. Just the NFL. So until they do something along that lines, especially a sport like Madden, that's why it's going to be sitting in the hottest seat. And it's going to be like that every single year, which just sucks. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, me, Sim, we're not sitting up here saying, man, Madden is just a completely terrible game that you can never enjoy. No, we enjoy the game, especially on PC. We got these mods, Sabo, Nectar, and stuff and everything. They doing some work. I told Sim before the show started, I'm like, hey, you know, if Madden 20, if the game's hitting, cool. Even after updates, if it's still hitting, that's cool. But if not, I'm gonna wait for these cats to do mods. I'm not even mess with it on console. I'll just wait for it on PC and just get it there. Let them mods come out, roll out on that, and just keep it trucking. It don't make sense to sit up here and deal with it on console when these cats got it rolling on PC like that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the like what I said earlier with Sim talking about boxing. We talk about boxing. We want to play a fight night. If me and Sim were big time MMA enthusiasts, I'd fire up UFC. You see what I'm saying? But because quiet, sweetie. But because we're enthusiasts about football and basketball and stuff like that, we want a game that's going to truly reflect and represent that. And we truly don't have that with NFL. And it's like, we do our best to play it and just somewhat settle for it. But it needs to be a lot more given to us. And what happens, than what we got right now. That's why when I look at my man posts all the 2K clips and everything all the time, I marvel at it because it's like that pass trajectory, Madden ain't got that. Even looking at the Madden tournament right now, some of the passes, there are passes that they should be able to throw even in the midst of coverage, but because of how Madden's passing system is right now, you can't do it. There's stuff in Madden 06 that in this tournament right now, you can't do it in Madden in terms of pass placement and pass trajectories and trajectories and levels of elevation with the bullets and stuff. You can't do it, and you should be able to do it. And that's why that's once again that's a whole nother hill of beans. But yeah, that's a valid dynamic when you're talking about playing in a tournament, especially with money on the line. I should be able to control my destiny to the fullest. Quarterback passing, I should be able to, defender standing there and everything. I should be able to throw that sucker straight to the pylon. You could be on me tight like glue. If I got Randy Moss at 6'4", and your defensive back is at 6'2", and I throw that thing into the pylon, and my dude can reach up and get that thing, I should be snagging that thing with him. Now, if you just so happen to knock it out because the players and the ball are loose to physics, and he pulls it in, and your player hits it off the helmet, and it just pops out, dang, you got me. There ain't nothing I can say about that. I tried my best. EA gave me the tools, and that's the key thing. EA gave me the tools to be successful. I had a chance to come away with it, and I didn't. Same thing. The guy I played against, he had the tools to stop me. He used it as best as he could. I nearly had to play, but the physics got me. Darn. But what happened is that happens in football. Not just, we can't have that happen because somebody's going to get mad because they caught it and then lost it. No, that happens in the NFL. If I get upset because something like that happens, then I should have executed better earlier in the game, period. I should have got more stops on defense. I should have, instead of field goal, I should have went for touchdown. I should have went in for 6, or did my best to get that 6 instead of going for 3. That's my fault. I didn't stop them enough on defense. you got to take it on the chin. You can't sit up here and blame the game, be like, man, but they just had the gameplay like this. No. That's why this game keeps on going backwards after the first few weeks of it being launched. People get all upset and whiny about it. And I look at how the game plays right now, and I'm like, man, I can just imagine if the RPM was working the way it was when the game first launched. This Madden tournament wouldn't even be looking like the way it's looking. The way that some people are able to cover the way they can cover, it wouldn't even... No way. But it's like that right now because this is how people play the game. And this is how people want the game to be played. That's a big-time problem. So I'll throw it back to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch gears and go in a slightly different direction really quick. I'm gonna spend a few minutes on it. We'll hit the FIFA thing, and then I think we'll be done here a little early. Let me explain to you. Well, one thing. Let me say this to you guys as well. I know a couple of you guys were saying that Smitty was cutting out. You know, Smitty's not at home. You know, so his connection is not the same. So you know, you might get a little bit of that sputter. So we apologize for that, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully you guys were able to, because I could hear it too, but I could still understand what he was saying. So hopefully, you know, it doesn't take away from that. Said a lot of good things there. I just got the urge tonight, Smitty, to be very, very candid. We always do that, but you know, sometimes the mood just strikes you at the right time. Let's just say I've seen this coming from a long way. Many of you guys asked, you know, how long will we be doing this? And we told you guys that it's no skin off our nose. It's really doesn't cost us anything. Hey, we're gamers that have the opportunity to be close to the devs, and why not? But you guys have also heard me say, don't be surprised if at some point, you know, the likes of myself and Smitty are not necessarily as much of a priority. And what I mean by that is, you know, it's gonna depend on the direction of the company and lead. You know, whoever's the lead creative director, what have you. Y'all know the routine. I'm not gonna bore you with it again, but you know, Rex was pretty much the guy who recommended us to be there. Rex is no longer there. Carlos was there long enough to drink some coffee and left. You know, for whatever actions, whatever got him out of there. But let me back up and say this. And again, I'm going to spend just a few minutes on it and we'll move on. It started to become very clear to me, I want to say 2 years maybe ago. Maybe 2 years. Maybe 3. It started to become very clear to me the direction that the focus was starting to be on. If you guys remember, Rex even said himself, y'all remember when he said this? That, you know, for a long time he was focused on the sim aspect, and, you know, but he realized, you know, he had to also, you know, spend some focus on the competitive aspect. And y'all remember all of that jargon? Now, I'm going to call it that because, again, let's not forget, Rex isn't there, and what is the reason why? They said creative differences. I'm going to leave it there. You know, again, one day maybe I'll be able to really go into depth. But, you know, honestly, I'm not going to do that without person's permission. But anyway, fast forward to what I'm about to say here. I'm going to be honest with you, man. For you guys that know me, y'all know I walk it like I talk it. I am who I am. You know, I don't worry about others. I never look at what others are doing or what others have and, you know, feel any personal way or anything like that. But I pay attention. So some of you guys are saying, well, what are you talking about, Sim? So, all right, let me give y'all some quick information. So Smitty and I have had the opportunity, obviously, to go down to EA Sports, down in Tiburon. We've done it for several years, and quite often we've gone down more than once in a year, maybe as many as 3 or 4 times, right? What have we also been able to do? I've been able to go to EA Play. You know, I've been able to do that several times, and, you know, of course, EA, you know, flies you out. Y'all seen the videos when I come back with the footage and tell you, you know, oh, this is EA You know, presentation, da 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 da. You know, everybody knows that. Now, let me tell you what I haven't done. And again, let me strongly say this. I don't care about any of what I'm about to say. I'm just showing you how I always got my third eye open. And I hope my boy, let me see if he's still in here really quick, because I know he's going to enjoy me. Yeah, my homie Dez is still in here. Dez likes, you know, when people go right at stuff. You know, Dez is a real one, and Dez is going to respect this. But I look around, man. Let me tell y'all what I've never been to. I ain't never been to a Super Bowl. I've never been to a game in London. Never been to a photo shoot. Cover athlete. None of that. So, if you start looking around, I've never had an opportunity to, you know, do any of this stuff, right? Pay attention to the type of channels and persons that run that channel that are able to do that. Now, this ain't got nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them, because let me tell you, some of the biggest guys out there, love those guys to death. You know, Anto the Boss, that's my guy. Love Anto, and I call him Little Anto because he's a younger guy than I am. You know, that's my man. I remember when Anto, when we was down at Tiburon, and he couldn't even drink because the boy wasn't even 21. It's my dude right there. QJB, love Q. That's my guy. A lot of these dudes, my boy, and listen, this ain't an EA thing, but Shakedown, that's our dude from day one. We know most of the big YouTubers. Shout outs to Cookie Boy, all of these guys. But let me wrap up my point. If you look at the type of content that comes from certain channels around, when we're just talking about Madden, I'm not talking about anything else. Because shout outs to my homie Mav. That's my guy right there. And Mav is on a whole nother level. Mav, y'all have no idea the type of entrepreneur this dude is. Madden is a very small piece of that. I'm only talking about Madden related stuff. And when I refer to these guys that have gotten the opportunity to do said things, I could care less if EA does that for me, but follow my point. When we talk about just Madden, what type of people get those opportunities as far as the channel? It ain't got nothing to do with no simulation. Nothing at all. These are entertainers, right? They entertainers. Now, my homie Mav sometimes will say, oh, that's, nah, I don't like that. They got to fix that. But at the end of the day, Mav don't care if Madden is real football or not. Mav is an entertainer. I'm speaking that like coming from, Mav don't care about that. Madden ain't going to make or break him. Mav is doing exactly what he needs to do with Madden. And that's why I don't fault these guys, because I see people in our community, right, in the sim world that try to get at those dudes. I'm like, nah, I'm always going to defend them. They don't care about that. These dudes are entertainers. But I make that point only to say this. Why is it that EA is always putting those people in the front? Why? Because that's the type of game that they're marketing. You understand what I'm saying? Why do you think it's always the entertainer that they have in mingling and this and this and that? Because the rest of that stuff don't matter. And I saw this. I started seeing this being very, very, very clear, because the people who are more simulation based, it started being less and less and less participation. Not because these folks didn't want to participate. It's just these folks didn't get the opportunity. It started being more about impact, right? And what you bring to the table in terms of channel size, sub count. I'm just keeping it a buck. And again, I ain't talking about the people. I love all of those dudes. So for anybody hearing this, this ain't got nothing to do with them. Those are my folks. Matter of fact, I'm in iMav's full-time content creator class. You know what I'm saying? I supported him even in that regard. Like, I'm in his class right now, his online class, for you guys that might want to know. Those are my folks. Love them dudes. But I'm just talking about from the business side. It's not a mystery, man. Why? I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying. I'm not bitter. None of that. I'm just saying. What person have you seen that's a hardcore simulation guy, hardcore franchise guy, etc., that's at those type of events? You don't see it. It's all about sell. And the funny thing is, to me, that makes me laugh about EA, like, those guys don't even need that. They don't need that. They don't need, like, you think iMath needs Madden to be what he is? No, he doesn't. None of them do. You think Q needs, none of them need Madden. And to me, what's so funny is if you are a marketer, you need to put different avenues out front like that. If you're trying to gain, if you're trying to get the dollar from the person, right? You're trying to get the dollar from the person who ain't buying your product. Why you keep going about it the same way? Makes no sense to me. I'm just saying, look, man, it's very clear to me where the direction is going. That's why I keep telling y'all, Madden 20 gonna tell me a lot. And I'm comfortable with just being SimFBallCritic. And I'm sure Smitty is comfortable with just being Smitty, and we still do it the way we do it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I ain't gotta do all that stuff no more. As far as the going here and going, no, because if it's not aligning with what I want out of the game, I'm gonna be very frank. I don't want to be no part of that. I don't, because let me say it like this, and then I'll back off of it. I'm not interested in Madden to be a celebrity. I hope y'all get what I'm saying there. That's not the reason why I'm interested in this Madden thing. It's because I want a good football game to play. You understand what I'm saying? And the difference between a guy like me and a guy like my homie Mav is just an entertainer. Go look at his channel. Mav play everything. My homie Anto, he does everything. Q, they do everything. They're entertainers. They're not Madden specific. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. I hope I made that point clearly. These guys are just entertainers. You know what I'm saying? It's different from a Chris Smooth, right? Chris Smooth is a basketball head. And he built himself off of that basketball brand. And you really just see him really just do that for the most part. My man, even, you know, a lot of times he doing actual highlight videos from the real NBA. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I don't see that in Madden. I don't see that guy. And those guys exist. You know what I'm saying? Why isn't it a guy like NY supposed to be large and in charge? That man know football left and right. I like to say that I know some football too. But a guy like NY should be able to have this same opportunity if we're trying to push the game forward. You understand? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Again, I'm not trying to come at anybody that's out here doing this and out there doing that. I'm just saying it's very clear to me, and I know I've gone over my little 5 minutes, but it's very clear to me the direction and the avenue that those who wear those suits in that building really want this game, what they really want it to be. And me personally, I don't know how much longer I can do this thing. Dez said we got catfish. You know what I mean? And it ain't even that, Dez. It's like it was going great for a minute, and then all of a sudden, whoa, what's this? And who called it a long time ago? Azure said it a long time ago. AZ said 2 years ago, man, we talking to the wrong people. Me and him just talked about that the other day. We talking to the wrong people. It's beyond the devs now. The dev part of it ain't got nothing to do with none of this. We talking to the wrong people. And that's how I'm feeling about it, guys. And that's why I'm saying, by me being as vocal as I am, I wouldn't be surprised if one day I get, somebody say something to me like, hey, man, you can't really be doing that. And I'm going to be like, all right, no, whatever. I'm just saying, I'm going to be like, all right, well, okay. If I'm going to be me, I'm sorry. I just can't. I don't like the way this is going, man. I just don't like it. And Madden 20 better show me some real promise. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to continue doing this thing, man. I ain't talking about the show here. I'm just talking about being the, air quotes, the game changer. Because what we changing right now? I don't see no changing. So, whatever. Maybe somebody gonna clip that right there, and I'm gonna get a nice email or something. But it is what it is. What you got, Smitty?
I want to add in. I would say, like, I'm gonna add on to that because I don't know if you saw, like what me and Sim had talked about. We've mentioned on here before that we're in a group chat where we talk with other GCs and stuff like that or whatever about things and stuff. And I was straight up just having a discussion, just talking about Madden in terms of franchise mode regarding CFM. And I was being very adamant about points that were about aspects that were done better 2 generations ago. And it's like, because I was very adamant about it, I was basically, the situation Sim just said, I was basically presented with. And I was like, well, see, this is the thing. I can't get upset at Sim sentiment one bit. Nah, no problem with that at all. But I made a point to make sure it's crystal clear. And as you guys know, I will take a real world point from something very serious to make my point and then scale it down to this gaming stuff. And I basically said, well, why should I quit? Why should I want to quit? Why should I want to back away? Did Martin Luther King back away because things didn't go the way he wanted to?
Yeah, good point.
Because the situation was bleak and it sucked. Oh man, segregation's going on. Man, this racism. Man, well, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it or pack it up and quit. Why? He stood on something he believed in. He marched for what he believed in. He fought for what he believed in. Why did I start doing these YouTube videos back in 2009? Because there was something that I believed in. There was something that I wanted to make a point on, and I stood on that, and I still do at this point. That's why I do what I do. That's why, and I made that point crystal clear, and I was like, that's why I did it. I know some people can't handle that. Certain people in there were like, oh my gosh, we're referencing Martin Luther King in regards to video games? I'm like, you missed the point. Clearly. The ship sank and the ship and sunk and then never even left the dock, if that's what you're really going by. My point is, and like I said, I'm not saying if Sim were to say, hey, you know what, I can't rock with this no more, I'm out, that means he's quit. No, that doesn't mean that at all. Not in the slightest. What I'm saying, though, is that because at the same time, Sim has the mind that he has. That's his mentality. As with mine, as with AZ. We're all in agreement. That's why we said, yo, it's not about the devs. It's the executives that are making these decisions and stuff like that when it comes to this game. When I say it's factual, there are mechanics in Madden 06 that are better done than what's done right now in Madden, and you take up issue with me saying that, okay, prove it. Prove that the game is better. Prove it. Show me a better game. Don't just tell me, hey, by the way, you know that we can make a better Madden than what was done on Gen 2. Okay, then make it.
Yeah.
Make it. Then give me the franchise mode. Hey, we could do a franchise mode much better than what was done in Madden 08 on ... Okay, make it. I want to see it. I want to see Electronic Arts invest in their franchise mode, invest in the resource. Y'all heard those that y'all were here last week. Y'all heard Mike when he was on here, or PX1. Y'all heard him. John White, man, they got ideas and they can do this and they can do and they can do. That's the thing. And we've said on this, all of these devs are muzzled. They're only allowed to go so far. They can only go by what the people up above them allow them to do. That's why that Mike Wang interview is so critical to how EA runs their stuff today. They put these limits on people, and it's like, yeah, we can do all these things, yeah, but are they going to let you do them? That's the problem. So if somebody comes to me with that stuff, check my track record. See what I've been doing all this time. You must not know me very well at all to sit up here and question me like that. To think that because I'm pushing you a little too hard with what I'm saying, you don't like the vibe of what I'm saying to you, so you have a problem with that. Well, I'm sorry. You must not like competitive people that much, because be around competitive people and serve them up something soft, you're going to get blasted on. You're going to walk away crying, because they're going to go at you tough when you drop the ball. And it's not because they hate you or despise you. It's because they want better. They expect better out of you. I expect better out of a multi-billion-dollar company to make a football game, especially to make a football game better than what they did yesteryear before they even reached that status. EA has lost its dang on way. That's very clear. They used to be about making a product for the people to enjoy as a consumer. Now they're just trying to figure out how to get more money. That's two completely different extremes. It's one thing to do a service for somebody. It's another thing to just say, well, we feel we did enough servicing. Now how can we get more money out of these people? And that's the problem. But like we said before, as long as people keep lining up to buy and everything else, that's always going to be there. Fine. All I'm saying is, in the process of that, okay, why not make more money? Build the game out. Why not sell 10, 12 million copies? And on top of that, that's more money for Ultimate Team, because you have great gameplay. Excuse me. Great gameplay, great modes to play across the board. You update your content, you update the gameplay legitimately, all of that good stuff. Why not do that? That's where I'm at. The better you make the game, the less I'm gonna have to say. Or when I do say something, it's not gonna be nearly as bold, because you're actually evolving the product. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got to walk around and be PC 24/7 about anything. But hey, I've never had a problem saying what I say, because I'm backing my stuff up with factual evidence. I could pull up Madden 05 franchise mode right now and show you how it obliterates what's done in 2018. That's simple. So we really gonna have, if we really gonna do this, sure, I'll pull up the facts. I could go in the studio, go in any executive meeting and pull up Madden 05 and then be like, why don't we have this in 2019, in 2018 or whatever? Why didn't we get this in 2018? Andrew Wilson, what are we gonna do to get this in 2019? What's gonna happen? I ain't got no problem doing that. Not a single problem. Who's the investor that got a problem with this happening? Why can't this be done? Give me the direct reason why we can't do this. Oh, well, it's got to be in monetized mode. That's crap. Look at what NBA 2K did. They're killing you in sales. So how come you can't do it? What you scared of? Innovate your game. Invest in it. No problem saying that to anybody. What's the problem? You don't have to be a business. I'll just make this point. We can get to next. But you don't have to be a business student to tell somebody to invest in something. If somebody on a house, let's say a house, it was completely jacked up, tore up from the floor up, and they bought it for $1,000. You come back 6 months later, and that sucker looks from the in and outside. That sucker top to bottom, brand spanking new. I mean, it looks like, you just look at it, even tell you, man, you could just look at it and see, man, they invested in that house. They invested in getting that house right. You could just tell by looking at it. Then we got top of the line designers, top of the line this, best of kind of products, best windows, faucets, sinks, etc. And this our house, and this what y'all did? Oh snap! That's money well spent. Yeah, but when your house, like what Rex had said before about the engine, he ain't say the engine was. He said it's just that the engine is fine. The problem with the game engine, the wiring. It's like a house. It looks good on the outside, but on the inside, there's a bunch of bad wiring that needs to be fixed. The problem is that we can't fix. We can't just have legacy issues worked on, and that's it. We got to innovate too. We have to, like we only have so many resources, and there's only so much we could do. But that screams to me, EA, give these guys the resources so they can hire a lot more people on their team and have people iron out those legacy issues, and at the same time legitimately innovate their title. There's no excuse that you can give me as to why you can't do that. None. Same thing with franchise mode. There's no reason why that can't be done. None. FIFA has a franchise mode that hasn't been innovated on in years, and it still beats what's in Madden. That's ridiculous. So no, you have no excuse, none, to not get this game right, man. So I'll throw it back to you, sir.
Man, the funny thing is, and Godspeed just made my whole point. The truth of it is, man, I'll make it very simple that for those who didn't catch or understood exactly what I was saying, I know I took a while to get there, but they don't care, so why should I? That's the difference. That's the difference. And how I feel about it. Like, they don't care. I feel like, to some degree, man, from being there for so long, I almost feel like I'm running into a brick wall. Y'all have no idea, man, how much it drives me crazy when I'm in, opportunities yearly, and I'm asked every year, make sure so what's the feedback after the, the feedback. Don't keep asking me that. If you haven't fixed the things that I talk about all the time or implemented them, stop asking me. That's just where I'm at with it. It ain't like it's sometimes you gotta see, and that's why I keep preferencing it by saying maybe. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I mean, things might be a turnaround in 20, and now we saying finally. Who knows? I'm just one of those people who've always seen the future before it happens. You gotta peep the scene so it don't catch you by surprise. I just feel like the alignment and my passion for it just ain't there. It ain't there because I don't feel like it matters. There was a time, remember y'all used to hear us talk a little differently. Oh yeah, things are changing, but each year it's gotten worse and worse. And that's why I'm saying I don't know how much longer. Nah. What's the point of me doing it? To that degree. What's the point? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm getting to the point where I feel like my feedback really don't matter. It don't. That's how I feel. They got to prove it to me otherwise. The heads of in that building have to prove it. Because at this point, I'm like, what's the point of this, man? Look, I'm going to read exactly what Dez just said. I zapped on the Devs for asking what was on the franchise wish list last year. The tape don't lie on me saying this type of stuff on here the last 4 matches. That's what I'm saying, D. That's my point. And I'm just saying, dog, like my personality and me as a person, I've been trying to hold out. And I'm not saying I'm walking away. I'm just saying I'll end it with this. and we got 10 minutes to talk about the rest of this, and we be done. I will end it with this. I will continue to get my feedback. And obviously, being in the program, I got more of a direct connection. But it's not going to hurt my feelings. And I could care less if the day comes when Sim is no longer a game changer. Because at this point, I don't see any real effects from it. I don't see that y'all really care about the game. That's the thing. My man Godspeed said it best. They don't care. And I'm going to stop acting and giving feedback as if they do care. So that's it. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. But Smitty, man, take us away, man. Wrap us up, man. Definitely speak on the situation that EA is dealing with these FIFA points, man, and the whole gambling bit and all of that in Belgium. How you feel about that whole situation?
Well, okay. No, I mean, as far as that situation, it could be the start of hopefully a trickle-down effect that could come to the U.S. potentially. For them taking away, basically, those FIFA points can only be used for cosmetic. Like it can't be used anymore for like buying packs and all that stuff. That would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. To see it help change the whole entire infrastructure. I mean, you got to have a starting point somewhere. I mean, once again, it's crazy, like, how much EA basically, how they flex the muscle in regards of that happening. Like, it's an illegal act, but at the same time, they kept pressing it anyway. Like, nope, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep doing it, and this is what's going to be. It's like, okay, well, it's illegal, though, but it just eventually had it caught up, and EA on the tail end had to do something about it. They had to comply, or at least in that part, like in that country, they're doing it. And see, this is once again, this goes to the point again about what we talked about in the past. You look at games like Overwatch, where microtransactions don't give you. I think in Fortnite it's the same deal as well. Like, they don't give you this helps with your character. That only helps your character as far as their appearance. It doesn't do anything as far as giving you a boost with this or a boost with anything gameplay wise or anything in bonus. So I think that's what it needs. Like, I mean, that's definitely what it needs to be. And even with Anthem coming out, like, I know there are some people that were upset about that because, I don't know if you guys listen, but even though they're saying there's no loot boxes that are going to with that, they still had skins that cost a lot. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they have like skins for your player or whatever, for your robot, that's $20. You know what I'm saying? Like $20 for a skin on your javelin or whatever. Like, come on, man, you can't be doing something like that. That's crazy. Like, I can understand if it's like something like $2-3 or whatever, something on a very low scale. That's what you do, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said before, even with the sports game, it needs to be something that's complementary to the game, not something that's a necessity. That's why when you look at, even with Madden right now and these ultimate teams and these tournament series and everything else, in order for you to build your ultimate team, you have to pay in order to get ahead, or you have to pay in order to just have a decent team. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't pay, then you fresh out of luck. You know what I mean? And then that's where the whole gamble and stuff comes in at, because now you're just buying packs and bundles and everything else. You're trying your luck to hope you pull that elite card and everything like that. That's where it all gets out of hand. So that's why I would love for that to come across to the US. I would love for it to get more widespread as time goes by. Like, I don't know how long it would take for something like that to happen, but that would be huge because now, once again, you're talking about another variable that is going to help with the landscape of not just gaming in general, but just even from competitive gaming or competitive sports gaming. Because now you just can't buy your way to getting those, those particular characters or whatever, or those particular cards. You have to actually earn those cards. You actually, you got to grind solos and you got to play head-to-head games. Like you have to basically invest in-game time in terms of getting there. And then even with that, cracking down on the coin selling bit, because that would definitely take a big time uptick. Because people are going to be trying to buy coins and, instead of buying packs, buy a bunch of coins, everything, and then they can go on the auction block and buy those, particular cards or whatever. So it's there's multiple moving pieces to it, but that is a good start but that is a huge victory over there in Belgium in that regard. See that crackdown in regards to FIFA, because I mean FIFA is the worst game. It's bigger than Madden by far. So to see that happen there, that's a big, and like I said, I would love to see, I would love to see the same thing happening across the board with other as well, because it shouldn't really be an advantage, so to speak, when it comes to, micro, like if it's a microtransaction thing. Even like Call of Duty. Like the way they have the black market and stuff in their game now is that you can buy all levels if you want to, and that'll give you certain variations of it. But you could still be effective even with the base weapons if you don't even pay for it. Or, you grind by putting in game time. You just grind it out and play. You can still build your character up and everything. So, it all works. It all goes hand in hand. But, you see where it works with certain games where they don't tax you for it in comparison to other games where it definitely is a lot of taxing going on, like we see in sports. I hope to see that change in the near future. So.
Yeah, man, I don't really have much to add. I just, 2 points that I would keep an eye on. Well, one of them already happened, but it's just funny to see that reading an article, they said that, let me find it, that, following the ruling over in Belgium, when it first, became part of their, their ruling there, is that Blizzard, Valve, and 2K Games all elected to disable the loot boxes. And however, at that time, up until now, EA was the last to do anything. That's hilarious to me. But the second part is, it'll be interesting, man, to keep an eye and see, how this is going to affect things in the U.S., or a trickle-down effect to other games. Because I see CMAD said that the FCC is currently investigating loot boxes here in the U.S. Word is Netherlands is next to ban them, and a few others in the EU. So that'll be interesting, man, to see what type of effect this could have on, the virtual currency, if you will. And I guess, the loot boxes, I guess is kind of the way how they constructed is what causes a problem. But we'll see, man. We'll see. So I didn't really have much more to add to it. I just thought that was interesting, man, how, I didn't realize these things was happening and how, Belgium went as far as to, really put that in and consider it as gambling, so that's an interesting thing. So we'll see how it all goes, because even with Madden, I mean, people have been, I don't know if you throw this necessarily in the same category, but people have been selling points and all of that for the longest time. So I just feel like you never know, stuff like this could have a trickle down effect to all of that, all of the behaviors and things that you can do with virtual currency. So we shall see. But that's about it, man. I don't have anything else to add. You know, we ended up going till 10 o'clock. I know we got started a little later, so it wasn't technically 2 hours, but you know, I think we covered some good information in the show. And you know, just wanted to share some thoughts with you guys tonight, man. I just was feeling a certain way, and you know, sometimes when you know you have a feeling, you just express it. And I just want to keep reminding you guys of that, because I'm telling you, if that day comes, you guys are gonna say, "Oh man, you was right." You know, when I say, "Hey, the day might come where you know they ain't really looking at guys like us as much no more." And like I said, that seed has been planted. I've been seeing it, but you know, again, I stay in my bubble. I don't mind giving my feedback and all of that. But like I said, man, the day that I really, really get that confirmation where I know things are just not changing, yeah, that might be it for me. Because at the end of the day, what's the point? You know, because at the end of the day, I've been fortunate to be down for so long. We've developed the relationships. You know what I mean? We've developed it. So whether I was in the actual Game Changer program, at this point, I don't think it really, really matters, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm saying that. Like, this is, again, let me just give you a quick history lesson, and I'll close the show out so I can get myself ready for work tomorrow. You guys know I commute on Friday. It's like this. When we first started this thing, we just wanted to get heard. We wanted to get heard, and we hoped somebody would hear us enough to pay attention. Then we hoped that if they paid attention, they would hear us enough to take some of the feedback. Then if they took some of the feedback, we thought, hey, man, maybe they'd hear us enough to be like, hey, why don't you guys, you know, give us some direct feedback? And guess what? It happened. Okay? It all happened. We got invited to come down to EA. Azure was the first one to go. Me and Smitty went a couple months after that. Next thing you know, we're offered to be Game Changers, and I honestly didn't have really no idea what it really was. They explained what it was, and they told us we want you guys to be as open and candid as honest. If you're not open and candid, if you're not real with your feedback, if you're not telling us what we're doing wrong, we don't want you. We did that very well, right? Have continued to do it. We give very stern feedback. Sometimes those post-mortem sessions are really tense, because we letting them know how unhappy we are. Did all of that. So my point is, the original goal has been accomplished. So when you get to a point where you don't feel like that same effect is not being had anymore, you understand what I'm saying? You got to come to a realization like, I mean, I'll make it even more general than that. For most of you fellas that are listening, and shout outs to the ladies who may listen. You've been in relationships before, right? And you thought it was going to work out. You know, you held on, and you held on, and then one day you just was like, you know what? This ain't going to change. And what did you do? Y'all had a nice mutual, all right, you know, maybe we should, you know, hey, maybe we should go separate ways, and if we cross again, we will. That's all I'm saying. Would I still enjoy, you know, having this, you know, direct connection? Absolutely. But only if I feel like my services are needed. I just don't feel like for the last couple years that the services that we provide and the feedback we provide is making any difference. And that's all I'm talking about. You see Dez. Dez crazy. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. It's just I don't feel like we're being heard. And I can't go another. Madden 20 is gonna tell a story for me. I'm putting it out there. If that thing ain't at least making leaps in directions that I wanted to go in, hey man. Hey, here's what I don't care what happens from that point on. That's how I'm gonna handle it. So that's it. And close out the show, man. Any last thing you want to say, Smitty, before we go?
No, that's pretty much it right there, man. You got it right there. So, you know, of course, like always, we appreciate everybody that came through and hung out with us, you know, and everything like that on the show. So we always appreciate y'all's support. But yeah, man. No, we look forward to doing it again next week.
And there it is, man. So, yep. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, man. You guys have been great. And like I said, man, we'll brainstorm on our side, man. Try to make the show a little more interesting, man. Again, it ain't a whole lot of gaming stuff to talk about. And frankly, I don't want to keep talking about the same stuff all the time. We always end up having this Madden conversation. It would be great if there was wonderful things to talk about. But so I think we definitely going to start mixing in some more real world situations. You know, maybe we'll have a couple gaming topics, a couple real world topics, and that'll be the show. Some real sports stuff, and we'll see how it evolves. But other than that, man, you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. If you're in the Midwest, please stay warm. I mean, it's super cold here in Pennsylvania as well, but my goodness. Pray for everybody out there. Man, it's ridiculous. Ridiculously cold. So everybody be safe. Have a good weekend. Enjoy this Super Bowl. And if you're a Patriots fan, yeah, I don't want to hear it. We catch you guys next week. Peace.